today we are going to be starting the perimeter of shapes. In our lesson on Tuesday, we spoke about Pythagoras, and today we're going to be using some Pythagoras, but we're going to be focusing on the perimeter of a shape. So who can tell me what a perimeter of a shape is? Who can give me like a description of it or a sentence? Yeah, this is term 4's math. Unati, tell me what the perimeter of a shape is.
Ma'am, never mind.
No, okay, don't panic. Let's see. Iman, can you help me? What would be our perimeter of a shape?
Ma'am, the perimeter of a shape is outside the shape.
Okay, good. Okay, good. It's the outside of the shape. I like that. Okay, outside of the shape. Solid. I also saw some answers popping in. I think it was Eunice. All, let me just make sure I've written this right. All sides added. I like that as well. Don't worry, Marcus, we're going to be doing perimeter and area. So by the end of this course, you will be comfortable with both. Okay, so I like to think of perimeter as a fence, and I'm going to explain to you why now. We are going to imagine that we are on a farm, okay? And on our farm, we've got this big plot of land that looks like that. That was a terrible plot of land. Let's make it a little bit prettier. Is that any prettier? Not really. Okay, in our plot of land, so we've got a whole bunch of grass that's chilling in this land right now. Happy little farming land. Okay. And on this plot of land, we have got a whole bunch of sheep. That's my sheep 1. That's my sheep 2. And sheep 3. And sheep 4. Okay, so we've got a bunch of sheep. They're all chilling on our piece of land in our farm. Now, we don't want these sheep to go outside of our land because that's where they could get hurt. There could be like a big river on the one side, or there could be another farm and then someone would be stealing our sheep, okay? We want to keep our sheep in one place. And in order for us to do that, we would have to fence around our sheep, okay? Now, if I wanted to fence around where my sheep are, I would need to have a fence over every single section that is around the area that I care about, okay? So that dark blue line is where I would need to fence if I wanted to keep my sheep in. And if I was needing to build that fence, I would need to know how long that fence would be. And in order to find the length of that fence, I would need to add up all of these different sides in order to figure out how long my fence would need to be. Okay, so whenever you think about the perimeter of a shape, I want you to think about it as like you're outside, you're adding things together, you're trying to keep your sheep inside. And by keeping them inside, we are trying to build a fence around whatever shape we are looking at. Now, I know this sounds like a weird analogy, but I promise it will make a little bit more sense when we start doing some more complicated questions. You'll see how this fits together. Okay. So we're going to start with some really nice, easy examples, and then we're going to move our way up and see how we go today. So first example, determine the perimeter of this shape. All right, who can first tell me what type of shape this is? What type of quadrilateral are we looking at? What's its name? Great, good. It is a rectangle. Okay, now if it's a rectangle, what does that mean about our different sides? Good, 2 sides are equal, excellent. Yes, my Zoom user. You just need to unmute on your side. I'm seeing beautiful answers coming in the chat though. I'm seeing the 90 degrees. I'm seeing that our sides are parallel. All of this is 100% true. And the last thing was that our opposite sides are equal. Okay, so if this is 15 centimeters, then this would be 15 centimeters. And if this is 5 centimeters, then this would be 5 centimeters. Okay, so not all four sides would be equal, but the opposite sides would be the same as each other. Now we're going to try and be fancy about this when we write this. Who can give me a suggestion on how I can write this math sentence to try and find the perimeter of this shape? Who's feeling brave? Oh, tomato, I'm not too sure what's happening. Yeah, exactly. We're going to add all the sides. Nice, Eunice. Okay. So we're going to say our perimeter. So we're going to call it P for perimeter. And then all we're going to do is we're going to add our sides. So our perimeter is equal to, oh, sorry, is equal to, and then we're going to add our sides. So 15 plus 5 plus 15 plus 5. So all we're doing, just to be super, super clear, in case anyone is feeling a little bit stressed, we're just looking at the outside of our shape. Okay, so we are looking at all of our different sides. We're looking at that 15 plus that 5 plus that 15 plus that 5. We're just looking at the outside of our shape. Okay, and when we get to this point, you can just do it on your calculator. So we're going to land up with 40. Okay, and what do I need to say after I say the number 40? What would I need to say after that? Because now I need to be quite careful. Yes, Eunice, little superstar over there. I'm going to say that, oh, sorry, guys. I don't know what's going on with the screen today. It's like not enjoying life. Let's see if that helps. Yeah, okay. So we're going to say that that is equal to 40 centimeters, and that's where we will end it. Okay. Now, these types of questions, they're not worth a huge amount of marks when they're like this, but it's like a nice, easy mark. Sometimes they will give you one for the setup and one for the answer, but for most of the time, they would just give you 1 mark. Okay. This is as easy as a perimeter question can go. Does anyone have any questions about what you're currently seeing? Do you square it? No. So, Pavi, we're only going to square that centimeter when we're looking at the area. Ah, Marcus, that's cool. Like when you have to use Pythagoras, but the backwards way. I like that. Okay. Okay, before we jump onto the second question, Yolanda's just going to quickly run a poll for you, and then I'll answer that question, Otelia, I promise. We're just going to quickly do this poll, and then we're going to move on to question B.
Let's do this, my pep. So basically, this is gonna help with the boot camp. Remember, y'all needs to sign in on the boot camp for us. We'll really appreciate it, guys. It will help you tremendously. So everyone, just make sure you vote on that. Remember, boot camp, you'll be provided with past papers before you come to the class. And Jan will teach you how to answer those exam questions so that you can be ready for your exam, my pips. So it's very important. Come on, let's go. We still have like about 20% to go. So let's vote. Vote on it, my pips.
For the question about geometry of 2D shapes, we have been spending most of last term on geometry, and that's that's all the geometry we're gonna cover. So all of those videos are online. Bootcamp is on the 5th and on the 12th of November. They're on Saturdays. They run from 3 until 4:30. We're going to be doing volume after this course. There is formulas to find the perimeter, and I'm happy to talk you through them. For some people, they find learning the formulas easier. For some, they don't, but we will definitely talk through them here.
Okay, my peps, we're getting there, my people. Please, let's vote. Okay, so I'm just waiting for some of the people. If you haven't voted, please do take participate, because this will really help everybody.
Diesbocho, I'm not entirely sure I understand your question. Can you flesh it out a little bit more for me? And Zani, don't worry, thanks for letting me know. No, we have not done surface area. We'll be doing surface area in our course with volume. Yep, this is for grade 9.
Okay, because
Cool.
I don't see anyone doing the voting anymore, even though it's not 100% my peps. It's okay, because I don't want to waste your time. So
You're
I'm
gonna end
thinking
it
I'm just
there.
gonna take a screenshot. Yeah, because it's not
Okay.
100%.
Okay.
Okay, there we go. Yolanda is gonna close the poll now. So you either vote or forever hold your peace. One,
Okay. So
2,
one of the
3. Sorry.
no, don't worry. One of the questions that came in is, what about the 90 degrees? So the 90 degrees that are inside this shape are just there to tell us what type of shape it is. So those 90-degree angles are there to tell us that this is a rectangle. Okay. They don't affect anything about the perimeter. Perimeter has nothing to do with angles. Perimeter is all about sides. Okay. So when we're thinking about perimeter, we're thinking about what is the full outside of our shape. So what I was talking about with the sheep earlier, imagine inside this rectangle, inside this area that I'm coloring in red, imagine you had a whole bunch of sheep inside that area and you were wanting to make sure the sheep didn't go out and you needed to build a fence. You would need to build this pink fence. And if we needed to know how long that pink fence needed to be, we would need to add all of our sides together. So we would say 15 centimeters plus 5 centimeters plus 15 centimeters plus 5 centimeters. And that would give us a total of 40 centimeters. 4th term question papers are set by the education system. Okay, so some schools use the sort of the government papers for their exams, and some schools don't. So it just depends on your school. We will be using questions that sort of are a mix of what's been in past papers and private schools. Okay. Okay. For question B, we need to get our mind into the mind of what we did in our lesson on Tuesday, and we're going to need to use some Pythagoras. Okay. So if I'm looking at this shape, firstly, I can see that this is my perimeter. Okay, that means that I have 8 centimeters and I have 6 centimeters and I don't know what RC is. And I need RC to find my perimeter. So my perimeter would be 8 plus 6 plus RC. So now we have to find RC by using Pythagoras. Yes, Artile, perimeter will definitely be in your exam. It's like a nice section that teachers often chuck in there because they're able to check your equation work and Pythagoras in the same question. So what I'm wanting you guys to do now, so RC is this side over here. That's where my question, oh, it's an excellent question. What is RC? RC doesn't exist, RQ. So we are needing to figure out what RQ is. RQ is that side that I have a question mark. We need to figure out what RQ is. And in order to do that, we need to use some Pythagoras. So I want you to see if you can first figure that out on your side, and then I will obviously talk you through it on the side over here. I'll also talk you through a different formula that you could have used up here if you wanted to use one. RQ squared equals RP squared plus PQ squared. Marcus, that is glorious. I like it. I'm going to write it down. Okay. So what Marcus is saying over here is we've got a right angled triangle. Okay, we have two sides and we need a third side. That means we can use Pythagoras. Pythagoras's rule said our hypotenuse squared is equal to our one side squared plus our other side squared. And then we give our reason of Pythagoras. Great start. Let me write perimeter in case it's confusing you guys with the P that's in the picture. Okay, keep going. Step by step, guys, one step at a time. Tabang, how can I help?
Ma'am, for the Pythagoras, it's gonna be, since we're looking for RQ square, we're gonna have RQ square equals 64 plus 36,
Good.
which 64 plus 36, 64 plus 30, 10, 6 plus 3 is 9. We're gonna have 110.
110.
Oh, I mean 100, ma'am.
Okay. And then
And
how do
then
I
we're
find
gonna-
RQ from here?
We're gonna the square root's 100, which is gonna give us 10.
Good.
And you have your RQ.
Beautiful. And then we have our RQ. Nice job, Tabang.
Thank you,
Excellent.
ma'am.
Okay. So once we have our RQ, this is our RQ over here. That's this dude over there. That's our question mark. So once we have our RQ, we have everything we need. Our perimeter is going to be the one side of our triangle, which is 8, plus the other side of our triangle, which is 6, plus the side that we had to work out, which was 10. And so we'll end up getting 24 centimeters for our perimeter. Okay. I'm just going to pause here for a second, and I want to give you guys an opportunity to ask questions about things that you would like clarification on or anything like that. So if you would like clarification on anything, or you have a question or you're feeling uncertain, please just pop your hand up for me and I'll see how many questions I can get through. Naledi, how can I help?
Ma'am, you said that when calculating area, that's when you put the squared. Ma'am, now by the answer where we were doing the Pythagoras, by the RQ equals to 10, do we not unit square it?
No,
Square unit.
because so this is not an area, that's a length. So it's just going to be 10. It's just saying that this over here is 10. I know it's confusing because we're dealing with squares up here, but our final answer for Pythagoras will always be set. The only time that our units will be squared is if it's area.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Pabi, how can I help? No? Have I lost you? Okay. Cool. Next, I said that I would talk to you about, oh, it doesn't want to unmute. That's so weird. Try again for me. No? That's so weird. Probably I don't know what's going on there. I'm pushing unmute from my side, so it should be working on your side. Just pop your question in the chat for me if you can, and then I promise I'll answer it.
Yeah, I also tried on my side.
That's
And
so weird.
yeah.
Okay, so someone asked in the chat about if there's a formula for perimeter. The reason I don't really fully stress this idea of formulas with perimeters is because it lands up being quite a lot to have to learn. So you're like, okay, well, this is my formula for a square. This is my formula for a rectangle. This is my and it can be a bit stressful. But if you are someone who likes to have those formulas written, we can absolutely look at it that way. So if we are looking for the perimeter of an area with a formula, we would say that our perimeter is 2 times our length plus our breadth. Okay, so this would be our length, that would be our L, and this short side would be our breadth, that would be our B. Okay, and so our perimeter would be equal to 2 times 15 plus 5, which is 2 times 20, which is 40 centimeters. Okay, so if you're wanting to use the formula, that's what you would be looking at. Otsaping, how can I help? Hello? Yes, I can hear you. You're very quiet, but I can hear you.
Can you hear me, ma'am?
Perfectly, thank you.
Ma'am, I am lost.
Okay, where are you getting
By-
lost, Peter?
At B, ma'am.
At B.
Because
Okay.
it says perimeter equals 8 plus 6 plus RQ.
Yeah.
And then you get your answer, which is the 24.
Mm-hmm.
And then from 24, it's RQ2 equals
No,
Eight.
no, no, no. Okay.
8.
So the order doesn't go from the 24 to the RQ. This is just our beginning sentence to figure out what the perimeter would be. Okay. When we write that, we can see, okay, we don't know what RQ is. We have to work out what RQ is. And so this over here is working out what RQ is. When we know what RQ is, we can pop it into this, and that gives us our final answer of 24.
So why do you put squares on top of these numbers? Two
So
squares.
this is using the theorem of Pythagoras. So we learned about Pythagoras in our lesson on Tuesday. If you weren't here in the lesson on Tuesday, you may need to rewatch the lesson that we did then.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. Let's try one more and then we'll jump into our brain break. Yes, exactly. That's exactly what we would do in an area situation. I'm just going to try and keep more than one up here. Okay, so this is a different shape. Bonus points for who can tell me what type of shape this is. Kabang, can I help?
Ma'am, for letter B.
Yes.
So when we try to look for the perimeter
Mm-hmm.
of R and Q,
The length of RQ, yeah.
yes, the length, sorry, ma'am.
That's okay.
Do we have to use the Pythagoras method or?
Yes, you do have to use the Pythagoras method. As soon as there's a right angle triangle and you're trying to find a third side, you have to use Pythagoras.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
No problem. For the answers coming in the chat, you are absolutely right. It is a trapezium. We know it's a trapezium because there is only one pair of parallel lines and it is a quadrilateral. Okay. Now this one is a little bit sneaky. So let's have a look at what our perimeter would look like. Okay, so I'm going to write it up sort of step by step over here. If I wanted to find my perimeter, and I'm adding all my sides together, right? So just keep that in mind. I would say 6. Let's maybe make our highlighter a little bit less excited with life. There we go. So we would say 6 plus 5 plus 10 plus 4. And then we have the situation, we also need to add HM, and we don't know what HM is. Okay, so our perimeter would be 6 plus 5 plus 10 plus HM plus 4. And now we need to try and figure out what HM is. All right, so try and think about what we did in our last question. That should help you. Yes, the people, exactly. You're going to use some Pythagoras now. I'm so glad you asked about the 3. We don't include the 3. So this 3 has been given to us to help us with the Pythagoras, but it won't be part of our perimeter because you see how it's a dotted line? The dotted line isn't part of our outside. So it's not a solid line. Or we're only going to be adding up our solid lines here. That dotted line is just there to help us. So we just need it for our Pythagoras. Let's see how this question goes. I'm just going to give you a couple minutes to work through it, and then I will get to the hands so we can talk through it step by step. But don't panic, don't overthink things. One step at a time. Yes, absolutely. You must first get HM. And once you have HM, then we can pop it into our perimeter and we can find out what our full perimeter of this shape is. So Eunice, just be careful. In order to find HM, we're going to need to use Pythagoras. You always need to show the workings. Maths is about the journey, not the destination. Okay. All right. Unati, we are all yours. Please talk me through how I'm going to find HM.
Okay, ma'am. I first said JH squared is equal to JM squared plus HM squared.
Gotcha. 4 squared. Oh, 4 squared is equal to 3 squared plus HM squared Pythagoras. Beautiful. Next line.
Ma'am, and then to get 4 squared, it's 16 equals to 9 plus HM squared.
Good. Good.
Then you're going to take the 9 over, so you're going to have 7 is equal to HM squared.
Good.
Then you square root, and HM is equal to 2,65.
2,65. I like it. Okay, so now we know that that is 2,65. Beautiful. Finish off my perimeter for me now.
So you're going to say perimeter is equal to 6 plus 5 plus 10 plus 2,65 plus 4, which gives you 27,65 centimeters.
Beautiful. Nice job, Unati. Excellent work. How did that go, guys? Let me know. Kamachelo, sorry, I missed that message. Okay, so for the question that's coming in here, how did we go from 7 to 2,65? Because the HM was squared, we square rooted that to get HM to be alone, and we square rooted the 7 to get the 2,65. Now we will have a brain break. I just wanted to finish this question first. So the units, the units shouldn't be in centimeters, the units should be in meters. Okay, does anyone have any questions about what you're currently seeing on the board? Please let me know. Don't be embarrassed to ask questions. You can ask questions either through the chat or you can ask questions with your hand up. But I'm here to help, and Yolanda is here to help.
Definitely.
There we go. Okay, Nolan Wabo, how can I help?
Ma'am, I'm a little bit confused. You see, question B, you we used all the centimeters, but then now on question C, we didn't do what we did on question B. So I'm a little bit confused, if you get me.
What do you feel is different from question B to question C?
Why didn't we include the 6 plus 5 and plus 10? And then like we only took the 4 and the 3.
Okay, so we were looking at this triangle over here, right? That's our right angle triangle to help us with Pythagoras. So if I drew that little triangle out by its side, that would be 3, that would be 4, and that would be HM. And so we're just trying to find the length of HM so that we can then plop it into the rest of our formula.
Oh, okay. Now I
Make
get
sense?
you. Now I
Okay.
get you.
Good.
Yes.
I'm so glad you
Thank
asked.
you.
You're most welcome. Guys, remember, if you're sitting there and you're confused, ask. That is what we are here for. How did I get? Okay, so when you've put in the root of 7 in your calculator, so root 7, like that, you'll see you have this button here, which says an S, and then there's like an arrow and it goes to a D. That means a third to decimal, because when we have the root sign, that's a third. And if you push that button, you will get your decimal answer. And that's what we're looking for here. So you're looking for the button that looks like this. There's an S with like a double arrow, and then it goes to a D. That means third to decimal. So it'll take you from root 7 to 2,65. Please show again, no problem. Okay, so in your calculator, you're going to push the root button and push 7. So that's where you were, right? So there's your answer. There's root 7. And now you want to get to a decimal. So you're going to push S to D, that button over there, and you will get your decimal. So I mean, don't panic, Sonia. That's the whole point of these lessons. It's to make mistakes with me so that you don't make them in class or in your tests or in exams, to feel a little bit more confident. Otile, how can I help?
Yes, ma'am.
Ask away.
Yes, so like I wanted to ask, like, why do we use the only the 4 centimeter and like the 3 only?
Okay, so the reason we're only using the 4 and the 3 is because when we're dealing with Pythagoras, we only care about the right angled triangle. So when we're doing Pythagoras, we only need the right angled triangle. So basically we're like cutting out that little triangle in order for us to figure out what HM is. So we're just chopping it out of our picture in order to help us. Oshaping, how can I help?
Ma'am,
Yeah.
where you wrote with green for your workings, why is your answer 227,65, and then here to get your answer it's 2,65?
Okay, so just remember again, it's the same as in B. This is just to work out what our missing side is. So that's just to work out what that little yellow section is that we didn't have. So we're using our Pythagoras to figure out that section. And once we've figured out that section, we put it all into our perimeter formula. You see, it's this number over here. And then our final answer for our perimeter is going to be 27,65. Okay.
Oh, I thought your perimeter answer was supposed to be the same as your working, like
No,
all
well,
of them.
yeah, so so sometimes we have to do 2 separate things. And so then our final answer is just the one we care about here. Okay. So I squared the 3. That 3 squared over there became the 9. You were getting to Brian. Don't worry. I just want to make sure. So yes, we rounded off this over here. So if you have a look at its decimal number, it would have been 2,645, and that 5 is going to make that 4 move up to a 5. Okay. Cool. Let's take our brain break at this point here, and we'll move back up to that question. For those of you who are new, this is Brian. Brian is, he comes for our brain breaks, and a brain break is just something silly for us to do in the middle of the lesson. If you don't know what's going on, you really mustn't panic. It's just something fun. Sometimes we do things which are completely random and sometimes they maths related. It just depends on the day. Today's ones are a little bit of a mix. We will see how you guys go. I'm quite curious to see how you do with these two. Okay, so I'm going to go down to the first one. I want to know what the question mark is. No, we're just typing letters. Ah, Tristan really is like this sneaky little ninja genius. Nice job, guys. I see a few of you have gotten there. Not everyone is there just yet, but quite a few have figured it out, which is nice work. Okay, so the answer for this one is definitely an N. It is an N. Our question mark is an N. So if we add all of our numbers up here, that gives us the number 4. R. 2, 4, 6, 8. 3, 6, 9, 12. And 4, 8, 12, 16. And so all that you're seeing is the last letter of the words that you figured out. So it's an N. Nice job, Tristan. You got there super quick. There were some people very close behind you, but you definitely snuck in that one very quickly. Okay. Next one's slightly more challenging. Let's see how you go. I'm going to be so chuffed if you guys can figure this out. And if you need a hint, you just need to let me know. I'm happy to give you a hint. If there's just complete chaos going on, then I'm happy to give you a hint. And my hint is that those numbers are very important in finding that number. And these numbers are very important in finding this number. And if you can figure out how those numbers give you that number, then you can figure out how these numbers would give you this number. So I've seen someone have the correct answer, but I'm not sure if they've guessed it. Because there's a lot of numbers streaming in. If you are confident with your answer and you are able to back it up with reasoning as to why you're right, pop your hand in, like just pop your hand up for me. Okay, let's see. Letabo, what answer do you think this question mark is?
17.
It is not 17. Oh, sorry, Linda. Tefisihle, tell me what you think this answer is going to be.
I'm still here. It's good thing.
Ma'am, I think the answer is 0.
The answer is not 0.
Okay, ma'am.
Let's see. Kadri, can you tell me what you think the answer is going to be here?
Ma'am, I think the answer is 3.
It's not 3. It is not 3. I'm seeing good answers in the chat. Some people have figured it out, but I don't know if it's guessing. Katiwe, can you tell me what you think my answer is?
Ma'am, I think the answer is 2.
It's not 2. It is not 2. Nomtanzad Dazo. Sorry, I think I messed up your name there in the middle. Can you tell me what the question mark is?
I think it's 12.
It's not 12.
Huh.
Oh, let's see. I'm just going to keep moving down this list. Oh, I've got so many who are feeling confident. Mamelo, what is my answer?
Ma'am, is it 11?
It's not 11. It's not
Is
11.
it 19?
It's not 19.
Okay, ma'am.
The person who seems most confident in the answer in the chat is Karen. Karen, can you pop your hand up for me? Let's see. No? Are you too shy to talk? Okay, I'll answer for those of you who are sitting there in silence. It is 6. So if you got 6 and you have a reason behind it, then you did good. It is 6. Okay, let's see why. If we take 7 and we add 12 and we add 15, we get the answer of 34. Okay, so all we're doing is adding those 3 numbers. Of those 2 numbers, if we say 3 plus 4, we get the answer of 7. Which is this guy over here. 11 plus 16 plus 3 gives us the answer of 30. And if we say 3 plus 0, that gives us the answer of 3. And so if we say 15 plus 6 plus 21, that gives us the answer of 42. And 4 plus 2 is 6. And that is our answer. Nice job, guys. You did really well. Quite a few of you got to the answer. I don't know how many of you guessed it, but if some of you actually worked it out the proper way, I'm really chuffed. Well done. We can't do another one. We just don't have time. But what we can do is another perimeter question. Oh. Come on, hello. You are friends with maths purely by the fact that you're here. Okay. So let's have a look at something like this. Don't worry, Marcus, we will do area soon. Let's have a look at this question. This question looks much tougher than it is. Now, Maza, can I help?
Sorry, ma'am. Are we gonna do height anytime soon?
So like height in triangles?
Height in triangles and quadrilaterals, ma'am.
Yeah, so we'll be dealing with height when we look at area.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so if we have a look at a question like this question looks like it looks mean. It looks super mean, but it's not actually so mean. And I'm going to show you why it's not so mean. And they love questions like this because they know it tricks you. Okay. If we look at this in a test situation, we're going to panic, right? Because we're going to be like, we don't have this, we don't have this, we don't have this, we don't have this, we don't have this. What do you want me to do? I can't figure out the perimeter here. I don't have any numbers. But let's break that down a little bit. We do have this length over here. Okay. And that length is made up of this line and this line and this line. So what do these 3 blue lines that I've highlighted at the bottom, what would they equal if I added up their lengths? If I took the first blue line and exactly those 3 lines are going to equal 15,8 because that takes me to that point, that takes me to that point, and the last one takes me to the end. So we actually know that those are going to equal 15,8. Then if we look at our other side, we've got this 7,2, we've got this something, and we've got this something, okay? And all of those lines have to equal what? So on this side, looking at my steps happening on the left, exactly, those steps on the left are going to equal 14,7. So please, can you work out the perimeter for me here and do not fall for the trap. There is still one trap left in this question. A trap still exists. Don't fall for that trap and tell me what my perimeter of this question is. Acknowledge the trap, but don't walk into it. I'm seeing some right answers. So Eunice, if you avoid the trap entirely, then that wouldn't be a problem. Am I glowing? Maybe it's the light that's behind me. Okay, I'm seeing some good answers though. All right, Unati, talk me through, how am I going to write this up?
Ma'am, would you say would you add like all the sides, like 15,8 plus 15,8 plus 14,7 plus 14,7?
Perfect. Okay, and what answer did that give you?
61.
Glorious. Absolutely perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So now sometimes when we're in a situation like this, the trap that I was talking about is that often people want to add the 7,2. So they add 7,2 and then they would get an answer of 68,2, or they panic. So they say, okay, well, I need to work out what these two are. So I'm going to say 14,7 minus 7,2, and I'm going to get an answer. And then I'm going to add that to my 7,2, but you don't have to, okay? That 7,2 has purely been put in there to trap you. This 7,2 is a full trap. That's its only purpose. It's purely there to mess with your mind. Don't panic. Remember, you can rewatch this lesson. They all will be uploaded. So it will be up within 24 hours, and you'll be able to check whatever you missed due to the network issue. So please don't panic.